Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I'm News Director Lee Pye here today with Sara Lodespoto, Alex Erwin, Joshua Ribakove, as well as Chloe Kowalyk and Sports Director Matt Volz. With this top of the hour update, we'll bring you the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music, as well as national and international news. There are no grapevines for today, so we'll bring it to Alex for our latest campus news updates.
The Marion Art Gallery will be featuring a new exhibit soon. The new exhibit will act as a senior showcase, showing off the work of 14 graduating seniors from the Department of Visual Arts and New Media. The exhibition, titled Midnight Oil, will open with a reception on April 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. It will feature art such as sculptures, ceramics, graphic design, illustrations in hand-bound books, a video game, and animated short films. The exhibit will be up until May 9th. Fredonia's Tutoring Services is looking for new tutors for the 2024-2025 school year. Tutors are a paid position and involve working both one-on-one with the groups of students in a variety of subjects. Tutors are needed for nearly all disciplines, including math, biology, chemistry, writing, business, psychology, and communication. To apply, visit Fredonia Tutoring on the fredonia.edu website. Applications are due April 5th. OSCAR, the Office of Student Creative Activity and Research, is hosting the next event in its series of Curious and Creative Conversations. The event will feature 3 faculty members from different departments who will discuss their research. These faculty will be representing the Vanum Department, the Department of Communication, and the Department of Political Science and International Affairs. Students are encouraged to attend and learn about the works of their professors. The event will be hosted on Wednesday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. in the garden area of Reed Library. That's it for campus news. Now let's send it back to Lee.
Thanks, Alex. Next up, we have local news. 2 individuals have been charged in connection with a 6-month investigation in narcotics activity in Dunkirk, including one man who was charged with drug involvement earlier this month. A search warrant was executed by the investigators from the Dunkirk Police Department and the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office on Lucas Ave last Thursday. Entry was made into the residence by Dunkirk Police Special Response Team. Located at the residence at the time of the search warrant was Yahara Hernandez. Also detained was Jose L. Pacheco, who was also observed leaving the residence just prior to the arrival of Dunkirk police. As a result of the search, investigators seized 2.78 grams of crack cocaine, scales and packaging material for the distribution of narcotics, and a quantity of currency. Herrera Hernandez was charged with 2 counts of the third-degree criminal sale of controlled substance, second-degree criminally used drug paraphernalia, first-degree criminal nuisance, and endangering the welfare of a child. Pacheco was charged with the third-degree criminal possession of controlled substance, 2 counts of some-degree criminal possession of controlled substance, and second-degree of criminally used drug paraphernalia. Pacheco and Hera Hernandez were transported to the Dunkirk Police Department. The city of Dunkirk has asked Chautauqua County to help them cover the cost of removing some old docks on the waterfront after a bill ended up being nearly 9 times higher than expected. During the legislators' Audit and Control Committee meeting, committee members were asked to use $50,000 from the county's occupancy tax reserve funds to pay for the damaged steel dock structures from the Dunkirk Harbor. Those funds are generated from money costs at county motels, hotels, and short-term rentals. Lake Erie water levels and weather events caused severe damage to the steel dock structures. The docks were more than 75 years old and haven't been maintained for the last couple of decades. Specifically, the docks that were taken down were the Yacht Club north of Memorial Park and the city boat launch on the west side of the pier. Chautauqua County Watershed Coordinator David McCoy said that the Lake Erie Management Commission previously agreed to spend $12,000 to help pay for the dock's removal. They thought that's how much the project would cost. However, in January, the city of Dunkirk hired a marine contractor to remove them, and the contractor charged the city $170,500. Woodbury ended up admitting that he didn't have a contract with the contractor. Woodbury said he believes the contractor should only charge $62,000. If it ends up being higher than that, he said it would be the city's responsibility to take care of the balance. The committee backed up the request, and the full legislature would vote on the final approval at the next meeting on Wednesday. That's it for your local news update. Now let's bring it to the sports guy, Matt Volz.
Thanks, Lee. Fredonia's lacrosse team had a rough start to SUNYAC play over the weekend, losing to Cortland 20-3. Cortland scored 18 of the first 19 goals in the game. The team's record has dropped to 4-4, and they're headed to Brockport for a 4 p.m. matchup on Wednesday. Inclement weather continues to get the better of Fredonia baseball, as today's game against Pitt Greensburg has been canceled. This comes after a scheduled doubleheader against Brockport this past weekend was postponed. The Blue Devils haven't played any games outside of South Carolina since March 2nd, and their next scheduled game is at 3 p.m. on Wednesday against Penn State Behrend in Erie. Fredonia's outdoor track and field season begins this weekend with a 2-day meet at Geneseo. The Blue Devils have 5 meets on their schedule before SUNYAC championships in May. The meet begins on Friday and will run through Saturday. Well, the Buffalo Bandits began their road trip with a tough overtime loss in Texas, falling to the Panther City Lacrosse Club 12-11. The Bandits again entered this game with injury concerns, as their number 2 scorer, Chase Frazier, was placed on injured reserve before the game. Despite a Josh Byrne hat trick in the first quarter, Panther City tied the game late and forced overtime, an extra frame in which they would ultimately prevail. The Bandits sit at 7-7 on the season, and next on the schedule is a trip to Philadelphia to take on the Wings at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And the Sabres finished their West Coast road trip last night with a 4-1 win over the Calgary Flames. The game was tied 1-1 in the third period when J.J. Peterka scored to take the lead, a goal that was followed by 2 late empty net scores. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was stellar in net, stopping 32 of 33 Calgary shots. The Flames' only goal was a power play marker that deflected in off a Sabres defenseman's stick. Buffalo picked up 2 key points to stay alive in the playoff race, and they currently sit 6 points out of a wildcard spot with 73 points. That's it for your sports update. Now let's send it to Sara with the weather.
Now here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hi, y'all. Finally, a nice day after the snowfall as we reach a windy 60 degrees and partly cloudy. Does this mean spring is finally here? I really hope so. Look, I'm only your weather girl, not a psychic. But you best believe I've been craving warm weather. Start manifesting for spring temperatures on the full moon tonight as the clear skies ascend us to 44. An umbrella is no use for tomorrow's rain showers and high wind speeds as we reach 57. I'm already dreading the gloomy energy. I don't know about you, but something that always helps me out when I feel like this is a good old stretch. So, feeling down? Try touching your toes. See how you feel by the end of the day as we drop to a breezy upper 40s. That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening. I'll be back with the rest of your 5-day forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for a local music update.
Last Call Entertainment is presenting music at BJ's. Bands like Lobotomite, Coma Ghost, and Eaglewood Creek are performing on March 28th at 51 West Main Street in Fredonia. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. Foxhead Entertainment is also presenting some bands at the Creek House. The Bug House Bash is presenting bands like Saint Blind, Oscar's Cash, Asteroid Day, and Live and Groove. The show is on April 6th. Doors are at 8 p.m. and music is at 9 p.m. DM Creek House IG on Instagram for the location of the show. That's it for the music news this week. Now let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
The CEO of Boeing, David Calhoun, will be stepping down from the plane maker at the end of this year after a series of problems from one of America's largest aircraft manufacturers. Upper management is turning over as Stan Deal, the president and CEO of Boeing's commercial airplanes unit, is going to retire immediately. The new guy taking up leadership on the key division, Stephanie Pope, has already been the company's chief operating officer for less than 3 months, and the board chairman, Lawrence Kellner, will not stand for re-election in May and is to be replaced by a former Qualcomm CEO. In a note this morning, the current CEO, Calhoun, wrote, quote, "The eyes of the world are on us, and I know we will come through this moment a better company, building on all the learnings we accumulated as we worked together to rebuild Boeing over the last number of years." End quote. He also says the decision to leave Boeing is his own. Aged 67, Boeing's board raised the mandatory retirement age for the CEO Calhoun in order to keep him in the position back in 2021. Friday night was host to the deadliest terrorist attack in Russia in years when at least 4 gunmen with automatic weapons stormed Crocus City Hall the night of a picnic concert. The concert was sold out in the hall, which houses 6,200 seats. About 10 minutes before the show, the terrorists started attacking as they set the concert hall on fire, killing 137 people and injuring over 180 more. President Vladimir Putin called the attack, quote, "a bloody, barbaric terrorist attack," end quote. Although Putin assumed a tie to Ukraine, an affiliate of the Islamic State group claimed responsibility, a claim that U.S. intelligence has since confirmed as Kiev denies involvement. 4 suspects were arrested and identified in Russian media as Tajik nationals. They have been charged with carrying out a terrorist attack and are to face a life sentence after having appeared before a Moscow court on Saturday. The musicians of the band Picnic were not on stage as the attacks began and were able to leave the building shortly after it started. Today, Donald Trump is facing a deadline to post a bond to cover a $454 million civil fraud lawsuit, or else New York State could seize some of his expensive properties. As he seeks to regain the presidency, Trump must either pay the lawsuit out of his own pocket or post a bond while he appeals Justice Arthur Engoron's decision from 2 months ago against Trump for having inflated his net worth and the value of his family real estate company's property values. This morning, Trump opposed the number Engoron set, claiming it fraudulent as he posted on social media, quote, "It should be 0. I did nothing wrong," end quote. Among the properties at risk of seizure is Trump's iconic Trump Tower, standing proud above Midtown Manhattan. In a post on Friday, Trump wrote that he had almost $500 million in cash that he mostly intends to use for his campaign. With this civil fraud lawsuit, he claims he may be forced to mortgage or sell great assets. That does it for today's national and international news. Let's bring it back to Sara for the rest of your 5-day forecast.
The clouds conquered the skies on Wednesday, leaving a windy forecast of 50 degrees. Besides the clouds' domination, something we can look forward to is Manatee Appreciation Day. These cuties are not so small as they can be up to 14 feet long and weigh up to 3,000 pounds. Therefore, if you're planning on buying one, you might want to get a bigger tank. Later into the evening, we drop to the low 30s. On Thursday, we've won, but at what cost? Since we get some sunshine at a cold 44. Look, I'll take the sun rays over warm temperatures any day. At least with the sun out, I can make myself think it's warmer than it actually is. It's like the phrase, fake it till you make it. Can I also fake how cold it will be at night? Probably not, because the strong winds won't let me believe it's any warmer than 32. The sun makes a full debut appearance on Friday with no cloud coverage, rising to 46. What a great way to be the last school day before a 3-day weekend. Am I right? It only begs the question, what is our weekend going to be like? What should we expect? Well, I guess you're going to have to tune in on Wednesday. What I will tell you, though, is Friday night, there'll be still no clouds in sight as we descend to the low 30s. That's it for your 5-day forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written by Chloe Kowalyk and read by Alex Erwin. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather is presented by Sara Lodespoto. Sports is presented by Matt Volz. Music is prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Kowalyk. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a beautiful day.